Breaking tonight, big news in the Hillary Clinton email scandal with reports that the classified information previously found on her server was actually far more sensitive than we knew. In fact, it was top secret information that never should have been left vulnerable or insecure. This as we learn that the Justice Department is now seizing custody of the server that Mrs. Clinton vowed she would never turn over. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. The news is just breaking on this. It began just hours ago when we received reports that an inspector general for the intelligence community has identified top secret information on the personal server Mrs. Clinton used for years while Secretary of State. Top secret is reserved for only the most sensitive material. This after Mrs. Clinton has said for months that there was no classified material, never mind top secret material, on her server, period, end of report. Then news broke that the FBI has now taken possession of that classified material from Mrs. Clinton's lawyer. And then moments before we came to air, confirmation from Team Clinton that the Department of Justice is now taking custody of the server, which the State Department had been fighting, which Mrs. Clinton had vowed not to give. Shannon Coffin is a former Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the U.S. Justice Department Civil Division and a former counsel to Vice President Dick Cheney. Shannon, good to see you tonight. So not only did she have classified information, which she told us repeatedly she did not have, she had top secret information in her possession. And it sounds like it was from, it was operational and geospatial intelligence from the CIA and the NGA. How bad is that?
Well, this is heavy-duty stuff. It's sensitive, classified, compartmentalized information, what you call SCI, and this is the sort of stuff that the highest level of security is taken in order to protect it. You have to have this information stored in a secure facility that's electronically swept, that cell phones can't get into. I mean, and the reason for that is to protect sources and methods of our intelligence community. This is very, very serious information.
And now, what do you make of the news? So, because they had found, first she said there is no classified information, none. It doesn't exist. Let me read it for the viewers in part, okay? Right. There is no classified material. This is March 10th. There is no classified material. I did not email any classified information to anyone on my email. And then here she is again in July. I've never sent nor received any information that was classified. Never sent or received any information that was classified. Did not receive or send anything that was classified. Now it turns out not just classified, top secret. And on top of that, the server she said she would never turn over is being turned over. In fact, we believe it's in the DOJ's possession right now.
So let me give you a shock on that. She didn't turn it over voluntarily. The FBI is doing an investigation. The FBI's investigation is looking into possible criminal mishandling of classified information. And in the course of that, they're asking who had access to that server while she was using it, while it was operational. Who's had access to it since? They are doing a sweeping investigation here, and the first thing they should be doing, and should have been doing weeks ago, was securing that information and making sure no further national security damage could be done. It's about time, is what I have to say on that.
The Washington Post is reporting that there is no evidence she used encryption to shield the emails from foreign intelligence services or from other prying eyes. So what we have here is top secret U.S. intelligence information on the private server in her Chappaqua home, which we've already reported was being maintained by one guy who stepped in to take it over. It wasn't President Clinton's server. It was a separate server, contrary to her denials about the classified information. And now, despite her objections, finally, DOJ and FBI have said, we're taking it. We're taking it, madam, and a further exploration is underway at this moment. Where does this go from here?
Well, look, this is a full-blown investigation, and it's going to look at other people who used this server. Huma Abedin, Cheryl Mills apparently didn't use this email address,
Her chief of staff.
But she was using she was using some form of private email. Everyone involved at the highest levels of her administration to state have lawyered up with some of the best lawyers in the country. You don't do that unless there's a serious concern for criminal exposure. And that's exactly what you have here. The FBI is run by Director Jim Comey, who has a reputation, well earned in the Bush administration, for independence, is going to turn over every stone. And there's every reason to suspect the classified information now. We have confirmation that it was mishandled, and exactly who did it go to? Megan, there's one important point in all of this. In the early reporting on all this, it was reported that there wasn't even a security certificate on her server. That is, the information just went out unencrypted over the internet, where anyone could get it. It was out there served on a platter for foreign intelligence services, which I'm sure they got.
Wow. Shannon, thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Joining us now with more, Bill Burton. He's the former White House Deputy Press Secretary under President Obama. Bill, this can't be okay. Can it? It cannot be okay to have top secret information on an unsecure server.
Can I just start by saying that I feel like I'm through the looking glass listening to Dick Cheney's lawyer talk about criminal exposure. I'm just going to leave that there. But let's just keep in mind here that Hillary Clinton did what all the other former secretaries of state did with their email. The only thing that's different is that she voluntarily turned over her emails. So, you know, as they went through this process,
but
it
that's
appears
not
that
really
they found
answering
information
the
that
question
had
at hand, which is, how can it be okay? Let's accept that it was unacceptable for the others. I don't know. I mean, I know Hillary sent out a directive saying, don't do this. Don't use your personal email for state business, which she did. But how can it be? I mean, you worked for President Obama. How can it be okay for top secret documents to be kept on an unsecure server up in Chappaqua?
Well, first of all, the fact that it is the same practice that was followed by other secretaries of state is important. But second of all, if information that was sent or received was classified as classified or top secret information after it was sent or received, you know, that's one thing.
No,
but
they're saying at the time.
Said,
I looked at that. I agree with you. It's different. Maybe she didn't know. What they're reporting tonight is that it was classified at the time she had it.
Was it marked as classified in the emails? I think that there's a lot of questions that we don't know.
I don't know the answer to that. But she.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that either.
Well, she ultimately changed her story to it wasn't marked as classified. She has said repeatedly on the record, there was no classified information, period. Nothing was classified. Now we find out classified, yes, and top secret information. Can you explain? I don't know what this means. Containing operational and geospatial intelligence. What does that mean?
You know, I'm not an expert in classified terminology, but
it sounds
geospatial, I think. It sounds related to Google Maps. I'm not, you know, Siri would know, maybe. I don't know.
I don't like Siri because she refers to me as Megan.
But at the end of the day, I think we should keep in mind that this is also a practice other Republicans have used in this race. Jeb Bush had his own private emails. Scott Walker, Bobby Jindal, Rick Perry.
But did they have operational and geospatial intel from CIA and NGA on there? I mean, that's the question. Let me ask you this last question because we're short on time. Honesty and trustworthy. Her numbers have been going down on that. This doesn't help, does it?
Well, look, you know, Hillary Clinton is going to go up. Her numbers are going to go down. Her numbers on honesty and trustworthiness have gone down consistent with the rest of her numbers going down. And when you've got 16 Republican candidates pounding on you day after day, I think you're going to take a toll. But, you know, once we get to a place where it's Hillary Clinton versus another candidate, I think you'll see another story.
It's 17. Don't forget poor Governor Gilmore.
Oh, my gosh. How could I forget Jim Gilmore?
Jeez, Bill. Rude. Great to see you.
So sorry.
Thanks for being here.